So that is, it's quite hard to get a sense of scale, isn't it?
It is, without, yeah, well, even, yeah, it is.
This is Adam Scott, who I first met on the Ricky Gervais Politics tour, was it? We probably did. Yeah. Do you remember that? Beautiful flowing hair, and me too now. And this behind us is Wembley Arena, which is kind of preposterously going to be where there's an astronomy lecture this evening. I call it a show, but Brian Cox tells me off, says it's not a show. I'm allowed to call it a seminar or a lecture, which I consider, though, a seminar at these prices. Call it a show, or they realise they're being fleeced. But they're not, because this screen, that, by the way, that's the platform that I will be rising on later while doing, hopefully for the final time, my Brian Blessed impersonation. Run us through, first of all, the astronomy of that image, Adam.
The astronomy of the image?
Yeah. So what are we seeing there?
That's the sun.
Oh, Adam, you haven't been listening at all. So we're looking at an image of Saturn, and the first question is, for the entirety of that screen, do you know how many pixels are there?
3,840 wide. I can't remember how, 1,600 high.
Right.
It is the equivalent of a 4K television, but it is 15 meters wide and 6 meters high.
And so each one of, basically that is made up of a series of screens.
Yeah, a series of screens. Each screen is individually half a meter square, and within that half meter there are 128 pixels along the top and 128 down the side.
It is a remarkable, just come round, just have a little look, walk round it, and if we go, let's go down here, because I'm not like you, you'll probably fall. But when you look at this full on, it's quite hard to get the sense of the size of that and how it works when you've got an audience.
Should I get a bigger picture?
I'll tell you, why don't we change the picture. Let's get something there. That gives you a sense. So if you keep going back and then just see what, I don't quite know whether, because this is the hard thing, which is nothing that you film of this picks up the magnitude of it, because when you actually look, because the sense of the photons kind of coming out of that and hitting the audience's eye creates, to give you some sense as well, the fact that when we first had just like lower quality, when everyone was just taking little snaps on the first night in Peterborough, all they got was a blur because of the incredible intensity of the lights. But do you know what I mean, Adam? Which is, it is weird where you look at it now and there's no way a camera can pick up the vibrancy of that.
No.
But when you're sitting here,
it's almost a physical thing.
Yeah, you feel as if the photons are going, there we go, in the back of the eye, in the back of the eye.
Do you remember we were demonstrating the speed of clocks? We had to take the white background away, because when that slide came on, the audience kind of went,
yeah.
And had to go.
Don't say that though, because the people of Peterborough might still sue us for retinal damage. So was it low enough? It wasn't, you know, it wasn't that bad retinal damage. Temporary. Yeah. So we should see the back of it. I'll tell you what, wait a moment. I'll give you a sense of scale there. Stay there, Trent, just so we get a sense. Right, so hopefully this now, it's big. Because we didn't think, if you look at the original screens we had when we first toured 7 years ago, they were not much bigger than the kind of screen that your mum and dad would use if they were showing pictures of their trip to Venice. We have moved on. And if you come round, we'll then show you the other side of this. This is something that I love as well, which is to have all this technology and no one knows that behind that technology is just a stepladder. There's just a stepladder behind it.
Tech stepladder.
This is the, Toto pulls back the curtain. So each one of these, so let's, if we get a sense of, how many did you say, how many screens are there across?
So there's 30 left to right.
Yep.
Each one half a metre, making you 15 metres, and there are 12 top to bottom.
Right. And this is the first time this has been used in the UK, or?
It's probably one of the first times it's been used on this scale with this many screens in the same place at the same time, yes. And it takes approximately 4 hours to build and about 2 to dismantle.
And I was very impressed by it. Was it your eye? I think it was your eye, where you noticed that one LED had gone.
Yeah, it's almost a function of its clarity in that you then start to notice when it's not working, and if you get an LED that's the wrong colour or off, it really draws your attention to it. But the screen's been phenomenally reliable and has looked great every night.
Well, it was just an LED that had dropped out somewhere, but I mean that was literally it was a very tiny thing. Have a look again round at the front, and you'll. I don't know if you'll blind yourself if you attempt it. But this must be, I mean, it's not far off an LED per pixel, isn't it? I mean, it's not.
It is, yes, 1 LED per pixel. So if you see each dot is 1 LED that can do any of the 3 colours.
Did you from the start have the confidence that in our first meeting back in January, when we talked about this, that this would be able to convey?
No, it was always a worry. And I must admit, the first time we switched it on in Peterborough and looked at the images, there was a palpable sense of relief. But that's the always way. That's almost how it should be. You know, you try and make things as good as you can be. You don't take the safe option. We could have done it otherwise, but we wanted it to look as good as possible, and I think we achieved that.
And it does. It changes the sense of spectacle from the theatre tour that we did to this. It's just an entirely different sensation in the audience.
Absolutely. And the weird thing is, the key I don't think is the light. I think the key to it looking good is actually the black.
Yeah.
In that we have so many images where you have the black background of space. With a projected screen, you never get black. You always get a grey, not quite black. Whereas this, when you want black, you get black. And it's that contrast that actually makes it look so good.
It's all gone very well, hasn't it?
All right.
There we go.
Let's do it again.